Welcome back to Thursday Eve Behind the Scenes. I'm your co-host, Derek Mullen, along with my other hosts,
Trey Williams.
And Kyria Williams.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing on this Thursday Eve?
I am doing phenomenal. We're just coming off of the fabulous Valentine's Day holiday. So I'm doing good, feeling good, and ready for an exciting evening. Thursday Eve Behind the Scenes.
Yeah, actually, I'm really excited about this particular one. This is one I wanted to do last week, but because we wanted to do an honor to all the, I guess, Love Day.
Lovebirds.
But today, as you saw on our post, we are doing Failing to Succeed. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was a real great topic for, it's really kind of like a play on words, but they kind of like, I mean, they both have the same meaning, like failing to succeed. Yeah. So we wanted to actually kind of go over and talk to you guys strictly about, or have a conversation about the art of failing.
Yeah.
Right. As you know, I know we talk about this all the time, but we're going to keep doing it because you know why? It's our second independent film and it's available on Amazon and Tubi. And it's called A New Husband for Christmas. I know it's February and hey, it's Black History Month. So let's honor Black History Month by celebrating some Black independent filmmakers. Not just me. I'm talking about everybody that's out there that's actually doing something. Because you know what? It's all making them part of Black history.
That's right. That's right. Cheers.
Sorry, I don't have one today.
So again, failing to succeed. I wanted a lot of this kind of came about too because I was talking to. I'm going to talk about this other independent filmmaker who's coming up. She has a film that's coming out. I believe it's going to be premiering in June. She's here in Atlanta. Her name is Aurelia Humphrey Graves. I actually talked to her not too long ago because she chimed in, saw our film, and she just had some questions. And I said, I'm going to try to make myself available to help anybody I can. And we were talking about, I was sharing with her some of the things that happened in the midst of filming The Whale Call. Mm-hmm. And I was talking about how you can't be so overly critical of the things that you're doing, especially when it's your first time doing it. But you have to do it in order to figure out how to do it better next time, right?
That's right. That's right.
So that kind of led me to kind of aid me in talking about this subject today. So again, failing to succeed.
Yes.
So your thoughts, Kyrie, on that?
So failing to succeed. Well, what's the hook where if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again.
I'll let you roll with that. Yeah, that is absolutely correct.
Yes. So that was, I believe, Aaliyah back in the day or whatever, right?
Ding, 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 100 points. Yes.
Huh?
I said ding, 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 100 points. Yes.
Yay. So if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again, right? Mm-hmm. So back in the day, we probably was just singing that song, highlighting it, and just bobbing to the beat, right? But as you grow older and as you start doing things in life, you realize how much meaning such a song have, just those little words mean so much. If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. So basically, just highlighting on, the topic on tonight, I would honestly say that a lot of times when we are going into something brand new, something that we're trying for the first time or something that we feel that we're called to do, then I believe if we go into it with the mindset that failing is guaranteed, right? Failing in this is...
If you do it right.
If you do it right, you know what I'm saying? So failing is guaranteed. But one of the things that I've adapted to and what I've learned is that I learn from the failures, right? And so a lot of the things that's implemented within our organization and our production company, a lot of the structure and the rules and everything that you see that's implemented now, it came from failures. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, like when we first got started, some of the things that we may have been doing incorrectly, we were just getting started. We were jumping into the industry. We didn't know a lot about it. So we were making mistakes, not just one mistake, but we were making multiple mistake after mistake. And what happened out of that is structure came about. So basically, a lot of the structure, like I said, that you see is from the failures that we had in the very beginning of starting.
All right, I'm be honest. Here's something that just came to me as you were saying that, and we're gonna forgive me, y'all. We're gonna be somewhat maybe a little bit all over the board, but I promise we're gonna stay on the subject. But we're just gonna kind of be jumping out of the time zone, or shall we, the timetable, so to speak, right? The timeline. When you said that about the failures, right?
Yeah.
I think about, had you not had so many failures of recording your stage plays, would I actually been available? Would we really be here where we are today, right?
Exactly.
So that's the point of, like I said, when I say about embracing failure. I think a lot of people, and you guys can chime in in the comments below, but I really think a lot of people are just afraid of failing. And I know, and let's think about it like this: when we were kids, we would jump out of a tree and not even think about the repercussions. Right? We wouldn't think about us breaking a leg, breaking an arm, or knocking the wind out of ourselves, right? But we did it. I remember a time I jumped off a 2-story building on a dare. I didn't think about no consequences, and luckily nothing happened. But I'm saying that because when we're younger, we have no fear.
Yeah.
And we're not afraid to fail. But as we get older, I think what happens and what paralyzes us are the things that we acquire at the time. And so when we think about doing something new, that first, and you may be gun ho about it, but that first form of resistance, sometimes paralyzes us to move forward, right?
Yeah. You're right.
No, I just think that, like you were saying, Derek, like as you get older, I think like a lot of times in our culture, like in the world in general, like they take failures and they put such a stigmatism on it that it creates, like, I guess, an uncomfortable place for people to fail. When life, period, you're going to fail, you're going to make mistakes. But a lot of times I think mistakes are so looked down upon that people are scared to move past those mistakes or scared to try new things. And I think in order to grow, you got to be willing to step out and try something new and be willing to fail at it. Because if you listen to most successful people, they're going to say they failed way more times before they even got to the point of success. And I think that's something that we have to be willing to embrace and be willing to encourage one another, and even those that's coming up behind us. Like, you're going to make mistakes, and mistakes is just a part of life.
That's right. Mistakes is a part of the process. It's a part of it's a part of the plan, and a lot of times too, I think with the sometimes when we are jumping into something or whatever and we start to see failure, then we quit, right? We just give up and we just stop and we don't put forth any more effort because it seems like it just won't work. And a lot of times when we are in that place, then it's us sometimes even listening to our own thoughts, right? Our own thoughts are trying to discourage us and trying to get us to not go forth. So we have to get to the place of even ignoring our own thoughts sometimes, right? And pushing past those thoughts because, even in the Bible, it tells us that, that we can cast down our thoughts and our imagination and make them obey the things of God, right? So the word of God definitely tells us, how we can succeed, how we can grow, how we can, benefit in the long run. We just got to stay the course, right? And so in that process of it seeming like it's taking long, you may identify that waiting process with failure, and that is not true at all. So we have to be patient in this process of succeeding.
Yeah, patience. I'm gonna go back to two things. I like what Trey said. He said, it's in our culture. I think, also too, I think sometimes it's how we're taught. It's how we raised. I mean, just think about it. I mean, we're taught at an early age that you better not bring an F home. That means you better not bring a failing grade in, right? Yeah. So you're automatically being trained not to fail at a young age. Where in reality, again, I don't have kids of my own, but I'm just gonna say this. Is that if I had kids, I would say, don't be afraid of, I would change that, that paradigm. I say, hey, don't be afraid to fail. It's okay. We'll figure it out. But that's what you have to do. You have to fail in order to succeed. Again, hence the title, Failing to Succeed Today, because I'm saying this because I just think, and when I look at, and I wanted to bring this up because I just look at where we are, where we've been, where we're going. Like I'm sure we could talk about all the paths to success that we've, tried, right?
Yeah.
I think, Carrie, we share in that. We share in all the things that we tried in order to get to a level of success. Now, I'm gonna save part of that for another conversation, and that's gonna be something where we talk about finding your purpose. But right now, we're talking about failing to succeed. And I go back to what we said earlier about, how do we get to the wake-up call? Well, we didn't get to we got to the wake-up call because you had a lot of failed attempts of recording your stage plays.
Absolutely, a lot.
Yeah. So, and if we didn't have that, a door would never have been open for me to do what I did.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's one. So so what I'm saying is that's why, again, you got to embrace the failures. You can't, you could have easily just stopped at, I'm not doing anymore. I'm not recording anymore.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do. They do stop at they stop at sometimes if they fail. If they failed 5, maybe 10 times, they stop there. But let me remind you, Thomas Edison, created he created the light bulb, but he failed at it 10,000 times.
Yeah.
Not 1,000, 10,000 times before he got it right.
Yeah.
Before he made it to, before he really made it where it was real successful. So that alone should tell you right there. It's like, we got way more times to fail than it is to succeed in where we're going.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then a lot of times too is even highlighting, sometimes we fail multiple times. We have to get to the point of comprehending and learning from those failures, right? So if we constantly see ourselves doing the same thing over and over and over, and that thing in particular is constantly failing, is not moving us forward, then it's okay to just go back, revisit what you're doing, and kind of just restructure it or try it in a different format, go about it in a different way, versus maybe that way may not work, right?
Right.
So it's so many different ways that you can succeed. And sometimes the failures come from the multiple ways that we're trying to implement something, right? And so it's okay to go back and say, you know what? Okay, I've tried this a few times. I see that it's not working. Let me kind of play with it a little bit and adjust it a little, and maybe go this route now. And so sometimes we just have to take different avenues in order to find that place, find that way. And just because, even to my, aspiring writers and things out there, all of those that reach out to me and asking questions and things like that, I'm definitely, open and available and able to speak. But what I don't want people to do is think that because this person did it this way, that this is the way that I have to do it, And so we all have our own way of doing things, and you win based off of your path. What is the direction that you feel, called to? What is it that God is leading you to? And you can win at that. If we were focusing on, if our production company, the team that you see here, if we put ourselves in a position to feel like that we can only succeed if we do things based off industry standards or based off things that our other, counterpartners are doing, then we probably wouldn't be seeing the success as an independent film company the way that we are. But what we decided to do was, hey, we created our own path, right? We're traveling down our own lane. And so therefore, our ultimate goal and destination may not be what the next person's is, right? And so a lot of times we are willing to give and provide information, but that does not mean that that's your course.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to piggyback on that because I remember when we did the play at the Two Hill. At the end of the play, I kind of encouraged the audience to, whatever that God is calling you to do, like, you have to be willing to step out and do that. And you have to know that in doing that, there's going to be trials. There's going to be like things that you may not understand.
Yeah.
And those will be like, I guess, some of the points where you may fail at because you're trying to do something, but you don't know the exact steps to take to get there. And just like my wife was saying, like, just because we may have took certain steps to get to a certain place, that's not necessarily the steps that you're going to take to get to that place. I mean, you can glean and you can learn from other people, but sometimes the course that God has you on, it may be totally different than what you are looking at as somebody that's successful. God may be wanting you to take a whole different route to do something, and you got to be willing and you got to be comfortable to do that.
Yeah, Trey, I'm gonna actually see if I can find that clip where you said that in the at the end of the stage play. That was at the Two Hill. Was it Two Hill? You said?
Yeah, that was.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find that.
Trey have actually spoke at the end of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, let me find a couple clips. Let's see if I have those. Hold on a second. But
I'm finna tell a story. There was a young man. Sorry about that. There was a young man. He had a dream, and he wanted to get the community together. So what he did was, he went to the leaders in the community, and a lot of those leaders that was in the community, they were church leaders, and he went to those leaders to get help so he can raise up businesses in the African American community. So what happened was, he got turned down. In that, while he was getting turned down, he got discouraged and he gave up. But little did he know, he had a child. And one day, that child, she had a huge vision also, but she didn't know what it meant. But today, I'm telling her what it meant. And she don't even know this. She had the same vision, she had a big vision. And she went to the church. She presented her vision to the church. For some reason, it got turned down. Why? I don't know. But all I can say is that sometimes you have to step out on your vision, even if sometimes if you think you're looking for help in the church, they turn you down. Don't give up on that vision. But what I'm saying is, that's not to give a bad knock on the church. It's just sometimes that just may not be the mission of the church. But what I'm saying is, if that young man would have had somebody in his corner that was telling him, like I told her, I said, don't give up. I said, keep pushing. Even if we didn't have what we had in the church, I said, sometimes our gift is not necessarily for the church. It's for the people outside of the church. So, to say all that, I'm saying is, when God places a vision in you, it can be small, great, large. Just go forth with the vision that God has gave you. And sometimes you get discouraged in that vision. So you have to be like Gideon. Gideon laid a fleece. And what did he lay the fleece for? He laid the fleece because he was scared. He didn't understand what God was doing with him when he had to go to battle. So when he laid that fleece down, he asked for a sign. And sometimes you can't get discouraged if you ask for a sign from God. Just say, God, I need some help. I need you to reassure this thing to me. So all throughout that time, she said it back in 2011. 8 years. It's now what, 2019. God kept encouraging her, giving her a word every time she got discouraged. So what I want to say and finish this off with, no matter what you do, if God speaks a word to you, that's what faith is. A lot of times we get faith confused. And our pastor, he taught us this. Faith is a word from God. It's a word that God speaks to you. A word God spoke to my wife. A word God speaks to each and every person that's in this building. Everybody, if you sit down and develop a relationship with God, I'm telling you, He will meet you where you at. He will meet you where you at.
Just pick up where we left off. But like I said, Trey, all of that being said, like you said, to your point, and I'll just say this, like, failure helps you recognize, failure should help you recognize the areas that you need to adjust in order to evolve, right? Mm-hmm. Just so going back, and hope I don't miss this point. It's something I should have wrote it down, but it was, again, going back to the wake-up call when we filmed it for the first time. Filming it. When we made the official film, I just think about I think one of the things I was so afraid. Again, this is a failure piece, right? I was actually afraid to really put it out. Mm-hmm. I didn't have enough confidence in even it being the first film to be very, very public, Like I didn't have a problem with, I didn't have a problem with, okay, we submitted it to, film festivals
Right.
and such, right?
Right.
I just but then later it just showed. It's I guess what the point I want to make is that you can't be afraid of what people are going to say about your product.
Yeah.
Because what if Steve Jobs was afraid of people about what people would say about the product of the Apple, right?
Yeah.
Or if Michael Jordan was scared to miss any shots, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just say that's why I say the steps that we need to take to get to where we want to be is going to be in the failing process, but you got to embrace the failing, the process of failing.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to fail it, but again, I've said this: you got to fail fast, you got to fail often. So that's what and I'm not saying I didn't. That's not my quote. I'm saying I've heard that, and that's actually the things that inspire me. Is that you got to fail fast and fail often, because the sooner you do, the faster you'll get to, success. Well, in sales, they say, get your no early, get your no fast, so you can move on to the next.
Tell me no and tell me fast.
Yeah, tell me no, tell me fast, right? So I can get to the next one.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question as a writer. Where do you think that you've had a challenge, maybe you failed with writing and it didn't go quite as planned?
Quite often, actually. I would actually say, honestly, as a writer, it is it's very challenging, because what you do is, you have all of these, and I know my writers out here that's listening, when you're in your creative zone, 1 minute you have this idea, and then the next it's a totally different idea. So you want to keep going and, changing it. And it's like, okay, somewhere along this line, you got to stop, right? You just have to make a decision that this is it. And this is where I'm going to, continue to write from, versus constantly going back and changing. And then therefore, sometimes we won't even get to the place of producing because we too focused on trying to be perfect, right? And so in the writing stage or whatever, instead of trying to be just perfect, just get it out and just write. And then, hopefully, you have someone that you can collaborate with, that you can talk with. Like for me, of course, I have Trey and I have Derek. I have Kanitha, and so people that I'm able to go and show the script, and we go back and forth and communicate, and things like that. So I think, to answer your question or whatever, one of the areas that I probably have failed in the past is trying to write perfectly, right? And we know that nothing is perfect. We're not even perfect, and so therefore it's okay to just get it done and get it out there, right? Because like I said, we'll be spinning our wheels. And a lot of times I'm speaking from a script perspective, but whatever that is in your life, whatever, road that you're traveling on as it relates to your purpose and your calling and what it is that you're doing, we just got to do it, right? I think a lot of times we go back and we say, we constantly reading books, and we're, looking at different people and what they're saying about things. And so we spend so much time trying to get all of this information that it seems as if we're being productive, right? Busy doesn't mean productive. Okay. We have to know that just because you're busy doesn't mean that you're being productive. And so in order to get your project complete, get it done, we got to do it. Right. And stop going back and constantly revising and editing. And now, well, let me see what this person got to say. Well, let me go buy this book and let me read this book. And then now you 100 years old now and you ain't did nothing.
I think I said this in a post on my Facebook page some time ago, saying you got to stop listening to people who's never been where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's hard to do. I'll be honest with you. It was, again, we talk about our parents, and our parents, you have to admit, and that's why I said I want to say this carefully, because this is no snub at my dad who's passed away. There's no snub at my dad. I respect my dad greatly, but I can tell you a lot of, like, again, how we raised, you know. So I remember I was going to leave my first job. I was working for Blockbuster at the time. I was tenured with them a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying, hey, I'm about to go, you know, move on to this other job. Again, the company, no one really knew about them and none of that. And he's like, why would you leave that job? I think you should stay where you are. But I had to leave, you know, so I had to. If I never did it, I'm telling you, that's why all the steps that we've done in the past to where we are today, if we never had done it, we wouldn't know where it would lead us, right?
Yeah.
If we stayed in our place, if we stayed like, nah, because this is comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
This is comfortable, and I don't want to fail. I don't want to take no risk, and I don't want to fail. It's comfortable. And like I said, to Trey's point, you know, I know that everything's not for everybody, but sometimes there's a greater calling that some people have. And like I say, and I always told Kyrie this, I said, some people are waiting for you to show up.
Yeah.
And somebody got to do it. And to be honest, it's like in every area, somebody's got to do it first.
Yeah.
So that somebody can learn and make the next best car, the next best Facebook, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Facebook, like, look at now, everybody that comes along now, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Snapchat, you got TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But that all came from somebody else who did it first.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, even before Facebook, there was MySpace.
Yeah.
Somebody had to do it first.
Yeah, somebody did it first, and then somebody else could come along and blow it up, right? Or something or anything. But to your point too, even as far as our, you know, parents and you know, just the older generation, I would say honestly, and no knock on them, because of course everybody is in their own lane, right? But one thing we can't allow is sometimes, you know, it's our family members and close friends and people that really mean a lot to us that we have on pedestals in our life that will probably be against something that we're trying to do. And it's no disrespect to them or anything, but you have to know yourself. You have to know what you want out of life, because a lot of times we speak from experience, right? And so our parents and all the older generations and everyone before us, the only thing we've ever been taught was, you know, go to school, go to college and get a good job, right? So we know what that means now, right? We've experienced loss of jobs and, you know, decreasing of income and all type of things. And so it's so important to make sure that you have something that you're striving for, right? And so that's all we ever was taught. Go to school, go to college, get a degree and get a good job. Well, a good job to you, that might not be my definition of a good job. You know what I'm saying? That may not be my path in life. So I don't think none of us, you know, nobody really teaches their children about purpose, right? And I heard a young lady say before, she said, her children were like young. She said, I don't have a college fund for my children. She said, I have a purpose fund. So therefore, when they get older, if they decide to go to college, if college is in their path, then of course those funds will be there for that. However, if college is not a part of their purpose, then these funds that I'm setting up is a part of a purpose fund. And so it's so important to make sure that we tap into that and to know what that is and to go after with everything that's in us. Our parents, our grandparents, you know, aunts and uncles, they mean no disrespect. They mean no harm when they are giving us their advice, but we don't have to take that advice.
Yeah,
you know
they're only speaking from their experience, and they're also speaking from just doing what they do best. Is they're trying to protect their babies, right? Yeah. So again, if you're just joining us, everybody, if you're just joining in and you scrolling and you trying to figure out what our lives about, our live right now is about failing to succeed. And all we're trying to do right now, we just want to impart just some wisdom out there, or just some salt, some encouragement. And I wrote that down too. We really just want to encourage people because, you know, a lot of it, like I say, we're saying this too because we think about where we are as far as our second film and just the overwhelming success that we're seeing from it. I'm gonna say it right now, since I'm gonna segue right to that right now, is that we are already on Amazon at 500 total reviews. Now, a lot of people think like, oh, I don't know if you think that's a lot or if you think it's a little bit, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it is a lot. because I can tell you
According to Amazon. Yeah.
Huh?
According to the Amazon.
According to Amazon.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, like they said that most people you had to get what was the car again?
We can't really say the number,
Okay.
but it was definitely, we exceeded what we were supposed to do. Yeah. We exceeded what we were supposed to do.
So it's a big deal because again, to be independent, filmmakers, it's not even so much about like gauging off. We'll get to a point we try to gauge off like the reviews that we get from everybody, but again, you can't even go by that. Like, but I can tell you this, just based on like getting to this mark of having 500 reviews on our second film is amazing. You heard us talk last week that even since the launch of that film, that has pushed the wake-up call that we had like over 70,000 views right now on YouTube.
That was 71,000 plus.
I said over 70,000. So that covers anything over 70, Kyrie.
Look, be exact, honey. No, but honestly, it's just amazing. Like even sitting here having this conversation right now, even talking to the viewers and the people that are following us and the people that are watching our films. And if I had allowed my thoughts to get in the way of even doing what we're supposed to be doing, like when I heard the Holy Spirit, telling me to write, I've never written anything in my life. I've never did this before. And so for me to, just really take a leap of faith out there like that, just jump out there, just scared, afraid,
yep,
not knowing what's going to happen. And then sometimes when it's something like that, you kind of start questioning, is this even God telling me to do this? Are these just my thoughts? Is this just something I want to do? But I know that it wasn't anything I just wanted to do. I've never saw myself as a writer, as a movie producer and, things like that. So if I would have allowed my fear and me not knowing the outcome, not understanding where I'm going, I will reach out to people for help. It wasn't a lot of individuals that's willing to, offer help and things like that. So I really had to jump into this thing and trust God, and just really, really, this was a really, really big faith walk for us. And because of that faith walk, and because I did not allow the fear to stop me, and because I still went forth afraid, shaking in my boots, we're here right now talking to you guys. We're here right now saying our second film is out. Get ready to work on our third one, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm sorry, Trey. I looked like you about to say something.
No,
you about to say?
It's cool.
You sure?
Go ahead.
All right. Well, what I was going to say is that sometimes, we get to a point where it's two things in this process, because of what we're doing. When you were saying that, hey, we took this faith walk. One, if we didn't do it, if we didn't move, if we hadn't moved based on what was in the bank account, I can tell you right now, we probably shouldn't have never made a film. But we didn't allow that. We didn't allow that to stop us. You know what I'm saying? You got. I mean, it's a step up. Don't get me wrong. I can't. Again, this is a disclaimer. I'm not telling you, hey, if we did it, you could do it too. In that sense, I'm saying you got to do what's right for you. But just understand that. But you won't. But don't wait for the perfect weather in order to make a move. I'm saying. What I'm telling you is that one thing I can tell you is there's always going to be day and there's always going to be night. But it doesn't mean. But during that day and night, it doesn't mean it's going to come without snow, without rain, without hail. Yeah, I'm just saying it's those things gonna come, but it's still gonna be day and it's still gonna be night. That's gonna happen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then two is that it's not about being great, but it's about being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell you, I don't think we got to where we are because we were so great. I think we got to where we are because we stayed consistent.
Stay consistent.
Yeah. So.
Stay consistent and stayed under the umbrella of God's.
I knew she was gonna say it. I knew she was gonna say it. I knew. I said I was gonna say it, but I said I'm not gonna say it because I'm gonna prove my point that she's gonna come in and say that.
No, but that's a good segue into like even with like I would say even with like me like learning sound or whatever. Like I remember the first time that I was under like an older gentleman by the name of Will and another guy by the name of Ralph that go to our church. And I know like I always wanted to be in the sound ministry, but from another place where a church that I used to attend, like it wasn't any opening, so I couldn't join. And I remember like the first time I got released on a soundboard, I was like shaking in my boots because if you never ran a soundboard before, it's like one channel that duplicates itself a whole bunch of times, but to the average person, they looking at it like, what in the heck is that?
Yeah.
And it's like,
especially me. That board.
When that happened to me and I got released on my first time to run like the sound for the sanctuary that day, it was like it was bananas. But in that, I made mistakes in that and I learned from that. And that even helped me like going forward, like when we first started doing plays. I remember like when we did like microphones and stuff, like we were just trying to work with what we had in our budget.
I laugh like, because I'm telling you, I could tell that Trey, that's, you know, not to say that I knew whether or not his first, but I could tell that Trey was under stress, and it didn't help when Kyra was on him about what is going on with the sound.
Baby, I would go crazy. That's what y'all say on play day. She totally different. I don't know who she is, but no, he, like he's saying. I mean, honestly, I gave this man the blues on those days. But then, that was a part of our failing, right?
Yeah, that was growing.
Yeah, that was like, growing because we started. Now we're able to work together, and do it successfully versus down each other's throat.
Yeah, then like from that, like I learned like sometimes you looking at the money that you have and you just trying to accommodate the budget that you have. Like I thought spending like $300 for this set that I bought was like a lot of money, but when you dealing in audio, that's like very, very cheap. So I learned that you may have to spend maybe $500 or $600 or $700 for just one mic. So sometimes, you just gotta work. You gotta work within your budget and just make it happen. I'm just thankful. I'm very thankful for like my pastor because like anytime that we need anything, he always was there with open arms, saying, "Hey, if you need something, just let me know. I'll pitch in and help you guys out." So I'm just grateful and just being surrounded by like a lot of people that helped us out. Like even our cousin Joe. Like he deals with sound and he knows a lot. And he's helped me out a lot. So it's just God has always been in the midst of this thing and just sending people our way that knows things that we may not know, that has helped us out in so many areas. And I'm just grateful for it.
I'm grateful.
This is definitely always we when we first started this, even this in itself, the Thursday Eves behind the scenes, of course, I'm gonna be honest, we were doing this, hey, we want to promote our film, but we got to a point now that we just want to continue to encourage people, just in wherever walk of life that they're in. I think I had just had a write-up done from Shout Out Atlanta.
Yeah.
And
it was such a good article. I hope you guys read that. I shared it on the page. He got it on his page. Go read that article. It's good.
But I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Shout out.
But shout out Atlanta. I was just telling everybody, like, what I want to do is I want to continue to be a light in a dark place, and that's why I say I want to continue to make positive films. I think we both, I'm gonna speak for us as a team. We want to continue to make positive films that's going to help give people hope and encouragement, right?
Yeah.
And we want to continue to do that even during this. I don't know if this may become a podcast, but we're just continue to just doing what we can to just, again, be a light in a dark place and to encourage somebody. Because I do truly believe, and we talked about this a long time ago with the Wake Up Call, that if that film changed one person's life, then that was the purpose for that film.
And from the reviews, it's changing some lives, from these reviews.
What was that quote that you said that somebody, that comment that someone had said, you could summarize,
They basically said that this film literally has me on a completely whole soul search.
Yeah.
Soul search.
That's deep. And we talked about reviews before, of course, with A New Husband for Christmas. And again, I would say if you have Amazon, or if you can research Amazon Prime and look up A New Husband for Christmas and just look at the reviews. Look at the reviews, look what people are saying. And we joked about that last time, but there's no way that we know all those people. Just letting you know, there's no way we told those people what to say. I'm just letting you know, there's no way.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah,
There's no way. They can actually, just take a look at the reviews on Amazon for New Husbands for Christmas and go to, the KMW Productions YouTube page. Check out the Wake Up Call. Look at all those reviews. Look at what the people are saying. Look at how what we are doing or encouraging people and how God is getting the glory. That's all he wants. He said, I'm just looking for somebody to show myself mighty through, right? And we have raised our hands and said, here we are. You can show yourself mighty through us, Lord. Jesus, show yourself mighty through us. And that is exactly what he's doing. That's why we will always give him the glory. We will give him all the honor and the praise for everything, because without him, we will not be doing what we are doing. And that is our purpose and our heart, desire is to, just get him out into the world. Some people won't come into the church. Some people won't listen to the pastors and things or whatever, but they may watch a movie. And in that movie, they may be, stirred to go in the direction in which he's calling them to go in. So it's amazing.
Absolutely. Trey, did you have anything?
No, I was just gonna say that, like, even on like our journey, like if you even go through and look at the KMW Productions YouTube page, like you can see the progress, the journey that's been made. And I think that's good that we put that, like, those older clips on there, and we left them on there because, like, you can see like things that we did.
Oh yeah.
Where we're at. Versus the production growth on where we're at right now. Like, you can see it. So it's just a process. It's like you have to get started and you have to be willing to grow with the growing pains that come along with it.
Honey, because I was doing them flyers and I was doing all that stuff, and y'all know, the people that's watching and those that don't know, don't know me personally. I don't do no flyers and stuff. Yeah, I don't. But at that time, when I was getting started, I was doing it.
Cardboard cutout paper. I see.
I was doing it all, and I was okay too, but I'm like, but you know what? One thing I've always tried to do is operate in excellence. Even on the budget that we have and everything, I've always tried to operate in excellence. Even when you look back on things, we may laugh and joke about it, but at that time, it was an excellence.
Sure, I told you, I got on. Hey, I can't. I wanted to be a part because I was like, I was just impressed. I was like,
yeah.
I said, hello, wait. It's the same chick that was in sitting in my insurance class together with me. These two right here, these two.
Yeah, and I mean that, and Derek, that's a whole nother subject, because sometimes, because of your past and because of some of the decisions or what you associated yourself with in the past, you will allow people to hold you in that place. So sometimes people that know you from the past, they know some of the things you used to do, they know who you used to run with, they know all of these things, and then when God grasps your attention and he's calling you and he makes you white as snow, he forgives us of our sins and make us as white as snow. But some of those people don't know how to let that go. But we have to be confident in ourselves to know that, I was something else. I was out there. I was, what I'm saying? But God has came and he's transformed my life. He's renewed my mind. And it's okay for me to be all that he's called me to be. I don't have to hold myself to my past. I don't have to, identify myself with my decisions that I made before Christ, right? And so it's okay to excel. It's okay to move past that old person and become that new creature that that you can be in God's will, right? So it's okay to just, I know, when you get around, people that knew you from the past and stuff, whatever, they so surprised at what God is doing, but it's okay. And you give him the glory in that and let him know, hey, you have a purpose as well. There's something inside of you that God wants to do as well. We just have to give him permission to really, really come into our life and show us who we really are, introduce us to our new selves.
Absolutely. I like what you're saying because, like you said, we're gonna say that for a different episode, guys. So because you're right, I think the biggest thing, and I'll just say this, is that you can't be afraid to talk to people.
Yeah.
A friend of mine said that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and I love that quote because it's so true. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. I think about if Kyrie had never came and said anything to me that, hey, Derek, and now mind you, she didn't know me that well at the time to tell me that God told her to write, because I looked at her like, Okay, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it another time. I just want to say, and I think we're bringing this to a close right now.
Yeah.
But again, just really truly, guys, thank you guys for continuing to tune in and just listen and commenting the things that we're talking about. We hope that what we said today is something that can truly encourage you. I want to give a shout out to, and it's something I'm going to do always. I want to give a shout out to Kenneth Nelson. Kenneth Nelson has a podcast called Life Beyond the Lens. I think it's really great. I think it's not only just for, don't get me wrong, it's a filmmaker's podcast, but I think it's some good nuggets you can pull from that. So, and he's a brother. So definitely, again, it's Black History Month. Let's make sure that we support Black businesses. All you have to do is go to his channel, subscribe, and from time to time, tune in to the episodes.
Yeah.
He's a really good guy. I give him credit for introducing us to our distributor
platform.
Yeah, so
that we're on. And Kenneth actually is one of the guys as well that definitely helped us along our process. We can reach out to Kenneth. He's also an independent filmmaker out of Michigan. And he is one that we can reach out to at any time, ask questions. He's always willing to help. So you have those people, that is still out there and can, offer the assistance and things that you need as well. So yes, I'm definitely liking this shout out. I love the shout out to Kenneth Nelson tonight. Shout out Kenneth.
Yeah, so
young man that has a very, very good heart. He does. Him and his wife, they're some
good people.
Good people.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that. Don't worry, again, it's not a paid sponsorship yet, but we just want to continue to encourage everybody. So again, thank you guys for tuning in to Thursday Eves Behind the Scenes.
Behind the scenes. Now let's close out with this. If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again.
Hey, run that theme music.
Go out and be great, guys. Don't allow fear to stop you. Know and understand. Take away from this broadcast tonight that failure is going to be a part of the process, but go out and succeed.
And if it's not, you're not doing it right.
Peace.
Yeah.